And label this 4-4. And we're dealing with variability. Cool stuff. This is exciting because it has exclamation points. Awesome. It's now that you guys are fired up here. Well, before I even tell you guys what variability means, we said central tendency is that central value, right? Central tendency is that central value. Well, what about variability? And central tendency is that average. It represents the average, right? I said a second ago central tendency was the middle value, but it's really, hey, what's the most common? What represents the group as a whole, right? What would variability mean? I'm going to give you a hint. It's sort of the opposite. So what would you think, guys? What would you think? How would you say? Wait, raise your hands. Got an answer. Just throw it out there. No one's wrong here. Just a thought. Go ahead, Christine. Don't talk to me. Talk to the class. Well, that's the outlier. The outlier is the odd one out, right? The outlier is the odd one out. But variability, you're kind of on the right track. Ooh, yeah, you're getting there. The difference would be the range, right? But what you're saying, I get what you're saying. You're saying, hey, what's the spread of the data set here? And variability is the spread of it. Kind of like looking at everything all around. Rather than everything being very central, if we took that example of Austin again, the center of the city, this would be looking at pretty much everything all around. What represents the spread here? So the way to do this is we are going to find measures of variability. We've already talked about outliers and talked about the range, but now we're going to get into something called quartiles. And quartiles, so Q-U-A-R-T, the quartile, they divide data sets into 4 sections. Kind of like you think of the word quarter, right? How many quarters are in a dollar? 4, absolutely. Boy, you guys must be real tired today. So it represents 4 quarters to a dollar. Or how many quarters are in a whole? Well, there's 4 again. So we're going to do the same thing with data sets. And the thing to think about here is, let's say that I give you these values. And I'm going to even put them in order because I'm such a nice guy. I'm going to type them out because it might be a little bit faster. So these are my values. Oops. 2, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 2, 4, 5. We'll do that. I'll think of it. Yeah, 4. Then a 6, and I'm going to just spread this across the page. Yes, sir.
How many 5s is that?
I don't know. I just typed a lot of them. So it looks like I got 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 3s, 2, 4, 6, 8 4s, then 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 5s, and 1 6. I just made them up. I don't know how many I had. I was just typing them up. But we're going to look at the variability of this. And I was just talking about quartiles a second ago. So what I'm going to do here is I want to divide this into 4 sections to represent the quartiles. And the way that I'm going to do this is, well, I've got to find the median first. So how many do I have total? 2, 4, 6. I lost count. Does anybody have the total there? That's a lot of numbers. There are 12 total here?
No.
I think there are more than that. 2, 4, 6, 8, 14, 16, 18, 22, 4. I think 26. Do we have 26? Okay. Hey, let me do this. I'm going to just cross out this last 6. You guys can cross it out. It really doesn't matter. I'm going to have an odd number. And what does an odd number mean when I'm looking for the median? The median for odd is always that middle number. You don't have to do any other equations. So I'm going to count out 2, 4, 6. Maybe I'll just count by 4. Is this taking long? 4. Is that 12 right here? So my 13th value should be the median, which would be a 4, wouldn't it? So it would be this 4 right here. That's my 13th value. That's the median for the entire set. Well, to find the quartiles, I want to find the first and third quartile, and the last thing the first thing you really want to know is the median's another good way. If it's a middle number and I have a quartile to the left and a quartile to the right, the first and the third, well, this middle one's got to be what, Jacob? Or Christian? What quartile would the middle one be? Yeah, it's going to be the second quartile. So now I'm going to go back here and say, okay, if that's the second quartile, I have got to find the first quartile, and it's got to be somewhere in this first lower half of the numbers. So my first quartile is in the lower half. So it's also going to be, let me see here, how many do I have? 2, 4, well, I have 12 total, so I've got to count out 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So I got to count out to 6, 2, 8, 6. I think it's these. That 3, and let me see here, 2, 4, 5, and then 2. Yeah, so my middle value right here should be this 3. I should have an equal number of 4s if I counted right. 2, 4, no, I don't think I did. 6, and then 2, 4, 5. So I need to count, since there's an even number, 12, right? What would the mean have to be? Whoa, 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 what? How did y'all get 3.5 and not a 3 or a 4? The average of the two, David. Yeah, I had to take the mean of both the 3 and the 4 because they're the two middle numbers of the lower half. They're the two middle numbers of the lower half. And now, that is, if I took the mean of 3 and 4, it's 3 plus 4 over 2, which gives you 3.5. Anna, what's up? You got a question, kiddo? Okay. Well, that is, since this is my second quartile down in the middle, my median, well, think of this as the median of the lower half. Well, what's that going to be considered? What value? Or what term? If this is the second quartile, this is what quartile? This has got to be the first quartile. And now, finally, the last question here is this. Hey, guys. What's this quartile automatically going to be? You already know it. It's going to be the third. You're going to run it the same way that you did the lower half. So this is the higher half, right? The upper half. So you're going to find the median of the upper half. So the median of the upper half has got to be what? If this median right here, what was our median here in the middle? It was this 4 right here, right? Or was it this 4 right here? Yes, this 4. So now I've got to count 2, 4. I've got to count out. And I've got 2 5s as my medians, don't I?
Yes.
Okay. So this median's obviously going to be what? It's 5 because I take 5 plus 5 and divide them by 2. Well, this upper half's third quartile is 5. The median of the upper quartile or the upper half is 5. So therefore, that's how you find quartiles. So let's move on from here, guys. And let's create a box and whisker plot. I'm going to create a box and whisker plot here. And this is what I'm going to do. Let's see. First thing I need to do is create a number line. And we're going to just go off the information that was used before. Actually, we're going to use some new information. I changed my mind. Right, so I got my arrows here going in both directions. And the new values that I'm going to give you are this. So I'm going to say, hey, 16, 17, then we'll go 18, 21, 21, 22. Let's enlarge this real quick just so I have more screen. 22 and 33. Then 40 and 42.
Wait, 33 or 23?
That's 33. 44, 45, and 48, 49, 49. I think I'm running out of room, so what I'm going to do is 48, 49, and then I've got 49, 55, and 62. So 2 49s, 55, and 62. And I've got 2 numbers that should really be on the right there, but because we're running out of room, I'm going to put them down to the side. Okay. So now from here, the next step is let's go through and find the quartiles again, the first, second, third, and the first thing you're going to do is count the what? The median, right? Well, where's the median? If we counted all these out, my middle number has got to be somewhere around here. Can somebody find that middle number? The median?
Between 33 and 40.
It's between 33 and 40? Anybody else got a different idea? What do you think, Ellie? So I've got how'd you get 41? Okay, well let's count how many I have total here. I've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 17. If I have 17, then I've got to be somewhere in the middle. I've got an exact number in the middle here. Yes, ma'am.
40?
Caroline, Christine, yes, this is my middle number. And it's a little bit difficult, again, because I put these numbers below. But Ellie, you're on the right track. John, you are on the right track. But when you have an odd amount of values, you don't need to do a mean. You just find the middle number. So this is my median, or my, what do you call the median when we're talking about quartiles? It's the second quartile. Cool. So now, that means my first quartile, guys, my first quartile has got to be here, and my third quartile has got to be within here. So let's count these up. 2, 4, 6, 8. So whenever I have an odd number of values total, it means when I go to the first quartile, I'm going to have an even amount of values. So what do I have to do then? To find the median, what do I have to do then with an even amount of values? So, Sean? What do I have to do here, buddy? Find the median from these values. Okay, so I've got 2, 4, 6, 8. So I'm going to count 2, 4, and my values here that I'm going to use are 21 and 21. Looks like the median for this one's going to be pretty simple. So therefore, my value already for the median is 21. And what quartile do you call this one, Miss Kayla? First quartile. Cool. And then, hey, Noah, where's your notes, dude? I didn't know Ponyboy knew a lot about quartiles here, man. Is he teaching you something about quartiles? Good stuff. 2, 4, 6, 8 here. So I'm going to count 2, 4, and I'm going to use 48 and 49. Hey, Noah, I bet you could do this without even calculating it. What's the median right here?
47.
I've got the median, the mean right here has got to be between 48 and 49. 48.5. So this is what quartile, Cameron Willis? This one's the third quartile. Cool. So now what I've got to do from here to make a box and whisker plot, guys, is to, let's see if I can do, yeah. Cool. So I'm going to go down to this number line right here. And what I want to do is label for a box and whisker plot are 5 points. And my 5 points are here. So what I'm going to do is just put 4 dots. First one I'm going to put down is right in the middle. That's the first dot I'm going to put down. Then I'm going to put down 2 on the right and 2 on the left. Put some cool color codes here. So the values here, and I'll tell you what these dots represent in a second. Hey Grace, come on in and have a seat, kiddo. Need to put there. So what these dots represent, guess what do you think if I'm taking all this information and creating a box and whisker plot and plotting the values down, what do you think this middle blue value is going to represent? Let's say Alexis, what do you think it's going to represent? This will represent my median here. So that is the second quartile. And that value is going to be 40. What I'm going to do is put a line right here, right through right here. A big old line. And what do you think this dot right to the left of it represents? Let's say Siobhan. Yeah, this is going to be my first quartile. Let me get yellow because I said I would. I'm going to put a big old line right here. I'll label it 21. And this is my first quartile. So Catherine, if this is my first quartile, this is my second quartile, what's this yellow one represent? This is my third, which is 48.5. Put a big old line through it. It is 48.5, and you label it third. And actually, I should actually put quartile below each of these. Label them all quartile, so I know that it's first, second, and third quartiles. And then from here, I've got my box. I've already created my box, but you don't see it. And let me label that for you. So I'm going to take my yellow again and say, hey, here's my box. Oh, maybe I could just do that. Okay. So here I'm creating my box right here. And all I'm doing is creating a big old box with the big old lines for the first, second, and third quartiles. There's my big old box that you can see. I cut off 40, but I think you know where it is. Cool. But I'm not exactly done because I've got two more values that I want to represent the variability, to represent the entire spread, Kendall. And those values are my smallest value and my lowest value. So to complete this box and whisker plot, I've got to put a line connecting my smallest value on the number line to the first quartile. Well, Kendall, if this is my smallest value in the data set, what's it going to equal? Oh, okay, that's okay. So what's the smallest value in this data set? Yeah, so 16 is this first value here. And then 21 that I labeled, Kendall, is going to be this first quartile. That is, you're getting that part? Cool. So just that part was a little bit odd. Okay, I'm not gonna confuse you here, but I'm gonna ask you if because this made sense, it sounds like you did the big oh eureka sound. So I'm gonna see if you know what do you think this furthest to the right value is gonna be?
I can't see the letters.
I'll show you. Yeah, it's gonna be 62. So this last one's 62. Now my box and whisker plot's complete. I've labeled the lowest number and the greatest number, and within those, I've labeled the first, second, and third quartiles. Now, all of this information, guys, all of this here represents the spread or the, I was hoping to not cut off that first, but it represents, what does the spread represent? Variability. So all of this right here, 16 to 62 with the first, second, and third quartile is the variability of your data set. It's the spread, and that's what box and whisker plots and quartiles help you to describe or create to visualize. All right, from here, guys, I'm going to shut my mouth partially and let the students become the teachers. Okay, so let's see. Madison, you're up first. Madison girl, this is what we're going to do. We're going to pick on you, but at the same time, applaud you for your bravery. So what I want you to do, no. Yes. Stay there. And raise your hand if I have not called on you to talk to you today yet. Raise your hand. Caroline, I've called on you like 4 times. Raise your hand if you have not contributed with an answer yet. I haven't had your name called out. Please raise your hand. Not picking on you. Cool. Elliot, you're going to be first, and we're going to move from there. Elliot, here's the rule. Guys, it applies to every student. If you use this slate and you start being goofy with it and creating smiley faces or unicorns or other stuff, you don't get to use it anymore. I'm yanking it away. You lose the privilege. Fair enough? Fair enough? Okay. So for now, don't mess with it at all. I'm going to write a problem up on the screen. And Elliot and Madison, you are going to help out in just 1 second, and we will go ahead and solve it from there. So the first problem that you're going to do is, let's see here. Oh, let me get a black here, good old black. And what I'll say is, and guys, you can start writing this data set down if you want. 84, 95, and let's see, 76, 88. And 92, 70. Cool stuff. All right, now I've got these values labeled here. Elliot, what the class and I need you to do as an outstanding teacher is to take all of that information up top and reorder it from smallest to greatest. You may choose your own pen color, and to do that, you just click up on top where the pin is at. You just select at the very top of the screen. Madison, can you kind of point to the area where the pin is at the top? And to your left, 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 left. See where the little, yeah, so right to the left of that, right there, Elliot, is where you are going to select to create a pin color. Actually, you know what? You don't need to. I changed my mind. You can choose your pin color right there by tapping on the color right there. So you want that color. Now Madison, while he is ordering those, so put them from least to greatest right below, but make sure you write it small enough that Madison has room to work underneath. Madison, while he is writing these, let's see how this works. And so go ahead and put one value down right there. The smallest one is 76. Elliot, you messed up, bud. Move that pin. Nope. Let me help out. Sometimes this happens. So I'm going to come back to it right here. Okay. So remember, wherever you put the pin on that screen, bud, it represents that monitor up there. So look where the pin is going. Yeah, there you go. 76. Good. Keep writing in a line all the way across. Make sure that you keep it clean. And Madison, while he's doing that, I'm going to have you near the bottom of the screen, real low. Choose a new color up on that board and create a number line moving from left to right. You don't even have to label the numbers. Just go from left to right. Lower, lower, lower. There you go. Cool. Now your number line definitely needs arrows. And since you're creating, it looks like we're going to deal with a box of whisker plot because that's what we studied today. You're going to need a middle section and then 4 other points. Now above, I would like you to use a new pin. Above those dashes, I want you to put an M above the dash that represents the median. Now, Elliot, while she's doing this work, I would like you to pass this slate down to somebody who's not been called on today. So raise your hands if you weren't called on again. And Catherine will do it. Catherine's good at it. Elliot, have a seat. And you're just passing it down. Eugene, you're going to get it first, bud. Eugene, while I'm working with Madison at the front, Eugene, I want you to select the median within that set up top and just underline them. And if it happens to be more than one number, solve for the median and small off to the sides of them. So now that you have the N labeled, so you're calculating the median from the list above. Find the median and calculate it if you need to. So Madison, now I want you to label the first and third quartile and the second quartile with those numbers, first, second, third. Yep. See how you put them above. Put them above. Madison, oh, you're doing good, Madison. I'll stop talking. You are the teacher. I'm the student. Now, Elliot, I want you to pass it to somebody who hasn't used it. Raise your hands if you haven't used it over there. And what I want you to do is select the. Have you not been called up? You haven't been. Pass it back to Catherine. Catherine, you are going to, within the list, locate the first quartile. So now, remember, Madison, you're doing good, Madison. But what I want you to do is erase the 1 and the 2. Now, Catherine, you're selecting from the list the first quartile, the value that represents the first quartile, and then you'll pass it to someone who selects the third quartile. Now, Madison, what I want you to remember is that the median represents the second quartile. So you'll put the second over the median, and then label what the first quartile is too. There you go, and put a first over the first quartile when you label it, Catherine, just so I know which one the first quartile is. Yep. And write SP for first. And now pass it along to someone who will label the third quartile, and now I want you to write ST for first and ND for second with those numbers. And now who's going to label you're going to find the third in the list? Cool. Could you also label the second in the list, just so it knows? No, up on the top within your list. Huh? Circle the third quartile, Catherine, but you need a pen to do it. Yeah, there you go. And then label it third. Then label the second quartile with the second. You say second. There you go. Cool. So it looks like we're going to take these values and place them on the number line somewhere. Catherine, I'm going to change, Madison, I'm going to change something with you. The first quartile, I really want you to put it over the dash that it belongs to. But you're doing great. Pause right there. Catherine, pause right there. Madison, pause right there. The first quartile is the first value we're going to label off to the left of this. There you go. You got this one. Which means the third quartile will be the closest value that will be labeled to the median to the right. Yes, this is exciting, guys. Okay. Miss Madison, you may have a seat. Pass the slate off to somebody else, Catherine, who hasn't used it. And Noah, I want you to stand up and go to the smartboard. Noah, I want you to put a dot on each dash that Madison created. Put a circle on each dash that Madison created. And put it on the actual number line. Now, who has the slate at the moment? Cool, Anna. Now, as Noah is, actually, since the girl used it last, Anna, pass it to a boy who hasn't used it. So, John, now I want you to take the values of the first, second, and third that are up in the list and put them under the dots that they represent on the number line. Get that? Yeah, there you go. There you go. And use a new pen color to label the next one. And you can select the pen. There you go. So yeah, perfect. All right, now pass yours along, John, to somebody else who hasn't used it, a girl. Now, what I need you to do, it looks like we used green for the dots, Jordan, so I want you to select the green pen. And create a box that includes the first, second, and third quartile. And you can cut off those numbers on the graph if you need to. Oh yeah, you got this, girl. Good job. So, but it has to be the lower part too, because you're boxing this whole thing off. Yeah. And now to represent the median, you need a dash that connects the top part of that rectangle to the bottom part of that rectangle. The median. Yeah, the second quartile. There you go. Man, oh man, this is looking good. Okay. Now from there, I'd like you to pass it along to a boy who has not used it. Good job, David. Now what I want you, David, is to connect the box and whisker plot of the first and third quartile to the smallest and greatest value. Cool stuff. So now, from there, pass it along to somebody on this other section who has not done anything. And Noah, the last thing I'm going to have you do, we're not exactly done yet. Looks like the box and whisker plot's created, But there's one thing that's missing from here, and that is the smallest and largest value on the number line. And that smallest and largest number are going to be, see where there's 78, 88, 95? What are the smallest and largest values in the data set?
36 and
Got it. Put them down. And if you can do that, you'll be the most successful person in the world. More successful than Superman. Good job, buddy. Look at that, guys. Hey, wait, step back to the wall. Step back to the wall. Let's just really admire this. You know what? Yes, we're going to. Yes, this is worth it. Hey, Noah, say cheese, man. Yes, got a snapshot photo. Everything. All right. That's our first box and whisker plot. And, guys, that is, if you think about it, whoa. That is, if you really think about it, teamwork, that something like, give me a company that has to have a complex system. Apple, absolutely. Apple uses this type of teamwork every day to get projects completed. You just completed one of the most difficult projects we've done. Yeah, absolutely. Because you had to think about it. If you all had to work together to create, we had one person working on data sets, another person working on the box and whisker plot. That is a complex system right there. Great job. Those of you who are up on the smart board, raise your hand.
Oh, well, I used to thingy.
These go to the people that were up front because they were standing up in front of the crowd. That's real tough to do. Everybody else who helped, very important work. And I'm not going to give a treat for it today, but you did a great job. I'm realizing we're running low on time. So what I want y'all to do from here is just know that tonight's homework is to complete the entire book. Wait, no, just kidding. Just get a good night's rest. Just enjoy the night. Are there any questions about today's work? If you do have questions, although y'all don't have homework, I'm going to put a video online so y'all can review it if needed. Have a great day. Sean, you're doing good work, man. You're so you're writing them down. I'm giving you computer. Okay, good. I'm glad that you're writing them down. Good stuff, bud. And take care, Kendall. Hey, Kendall. Things going good today? Or yeah? Cool. What do you think? Show me this smile, okay? And then you can check that. It's more if you want to do it every day, it's just every day. But I know I'm not going to start this a rule that I have. So it's not a rule that you like. It's a rule that you say, hey, this is the rest of you. So I'm just going to say, I'll go and do it. Just know that it's a rule to do it to me. I'm ready to work until I can see that the A's and the F's. It's still I say that it's more of a mandatory thing. Okay? Hey, Sean, if you can take it like cool, buddy. Elliot, how's it going, man? Will you do me a favor? Please, look at me. Please come in at lunch if you remember. I want to show you two things on this. Two things will take 10 minutes at most. Okay? I'll do my best. If you remember, I'd be pleased. If not, I will not be disappointed. I want to help you succeed with that. Hi, how you doing today? Yes, good. You a good guy right here, Luciano? You're a good guy. That's good to hear. All right, man. Come on in. Cooper, come on in. Class, come in.
What, is it not going to tell anyone else?
What?
I'm not going to tell anyone else.
Not going to.